In today's webinar, Practical Tips for Managing a Global Domain Portfolio, we'll be discussing how MarkMonitor Domain Management uses best-of-breed technology, industry-leading security solutions, and superior customer service to help companies establish, protect, and enhance global domain portfolios. I'd like to go ahead and introduce our speaker for today's presentation. We are joined by domain expert Alison Simpson. Alison is Senior Product Marketing Manager for Domain Management at MarkMonitor. With over 11 years of experience in the domain name industry, Alison has worked closely with several Fortune 1000 companies and has managed a team of client services managers that provide support to MarkMonitor customers. Alison has managed all aspects of corporate domain management, including domain registration and maintenance, new ccTLD strategy consultations, and continues to work with many of MarkMonitor's Fortune 100 companies to provide industry insight and domain protection strategies. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Alison to get us started.
Gina, and thank you everyone for joining us today. As Gina mentioned, if you have any questions, please submit your question using the Q&A tab, and I'll do my best to address them towards the end of our session. So today I'm going to be talking about practical tips for managing a global domain portfolio. There are a number of different challenges brand owners face. Today I'd like to talk to you about the current domain landscape and how the tools that MarkMonitor has developed provide the visibility and insight needed to optimize global domain portfolios. I'll review security challenges and then provide some tips you can use to strengthen and ultimately optimize your domain portfolios. So let me begin by talking a little bit about MarkMonitor. We were founded in 1999 with a focus on brand protection. We understand the need for establishing and protecting brands online through domain registrations, and for the last 15 years, we have focused solely on meeting the needs of corporations. And as a result, we are the registrar for the 8 of the 10 most highly trafficked sites in the world. The primary reason for our success has been our continual focus on providing the highest levels of customer service while ensuring the security of domains under our management. We are committed to providing the highest levels of security, customer service, and support, and we focus on creating innovative products that serve the strategic needs of our customers. MarkMonitor is uniquely positioned with our holistic approach to protecting brands online. We not only help clients register domains to promote their brands online, but we also help to defend against abusive registrations and take action when necessary. Before we begin, I want to set the stage by reviewing the current domain landscape, and then I'll dive a little deeper into how MarkMonitor helps companies manage the complexities involved with managing a global domain portfolio. Now, more and more people around the world are online. At the end of 1995, 0.0% of the world's population was using the internet, and at the end of 2015, that number had jumped to 49% of the world's population. 266 million users were added in the past year alone. There are more than 3.6 billion internet users today, and according to ICANN, the number of internet users worldwide is expected to surpass 5 billion in the year 2020. When we look at internet users by regions, Asia represents almost half of the internet users. The top 3 countries with the highest number of internet users are China, followed by India, and then the US. And while English is still the most commonly used language on the web, we are seeing big growth rates in Arabic, Russian, and Chinese. As far as what the domain market looks like, the second quarter of 2016 closed with a base of approximately 334.6 million domain name registrations across all top-level domains. That represents an increase of 38.2 million domains, or 12.9% year-over-year increase. ccTLDs totaled approximately 149.9 million registrations, which is an 8.5% increase year-over-year. ccTLDs represent almost half of all domain registrations, so they are a very important part of a global domain strategy. The 10 largest ccTLDs worldwide, including China, Germany, United Kingdom, and Netherlands, account for 49% of all ccTLD registrations. There are now over 24 million new gTLDs registered, and companies have been tasked with making decisions about where to register, where to block, and when to police. There were several complexities when the new gTLD program first rolled out, including special launch phases and withholding of brand names, and we witnessed brand owners having to pay more for sunrise registrations or for brands that were placed on premium name lists. I'd like to say that things have slowed down, but now we're seeing things like TLDs changing hands or registry operators trying to reposition their TLD in the market. We're seeing some registries change their registration requirements, update their pricing structures, or modify registration terms. So while I'd like to say things are slowing down, there is still a lot to keep track of. When we look at the top new gTLDs in terms of registration numbers, .xyz, .top, .wang, .win, and .club round out the top 5. And in terms of what .brands are doing, 536 of the 559 .brand TLDs have completed delegation. We're still not seeing many in use, but we are seeing some early adopters migrate their primary web pages to the new .brand TLD. When we look at what's going on in the domain landscape beyond new gTLDs, we're seeing more ccTLDs registries shift towards implementing industry standard practices. Practices like allowing EPP or automating their TLDs, allowing 1 or 2 character domains, and implementing registry lock. We're seeing changes in ccTLD restrictions, which can cause some concern for brand owners when restrictions are reduced, making the TLD more attractive to squatters. We've seen extensions launch within an existing TLD, like .uk, now available in addition to .co.uk, or .nz in addition to .co.nz. This can cause some confusion for brand owners, with them not knowing which TLD they should register, keep, or let expire. It's important to understand the internet user behavior before letting a third-level domain go after securing that second level. Just because .uk is now available doesn't mean that local internet users will start using your brand, .uk. It will take time for user behavior to change, if it does at all, so if budget allows, consider keeping both of those extensions. We've seen some extensions being discontinued, like the 8 or so central NIC extensions that are going to be discontinued April 2017. We're seeing more availability of IDNs. IDNs, or internationalized domain names, allow users to access domain names in their local language. Today, more businesses recognize the importance of reaching out to an international audience around the world in their native language by creating localized domain names in multiple languages. Today, more than 30 IDN ccTLDs have been delegated. Keeping track of all the launches and all the landscape changes does not have to be a daunting task. Later on in the session, I'll talk about the integrated technology and complementary consultative services MarkMonitor provides to help navigate this landscape. While tracking all the launches and changes online are one challenge, deciding what to register, what to renew, and what to let expire is another. I'm going to walk through several ways you can prevent portfolios from becoming bloated or misaligned, and ultimately help keep costs in check. We work closely with our clients and really encourage them to take appropriate steps to optimize their domain portfolios. Let's take a look at what that really means. When we talk about optimizing a portfolio, we're talking about maximizing the value through utilization, portfolio right-sizing, and reducing or containing costs. So what does that include? It includes aligning domain registrations with trademark coverage, identifying low-risk domains that are no longer needed and could be either retired or sold on the secondary market, and closely monitoring where domains are pointing and redirecting them to recapture lost traffic and potential lost revenue. When you undergo these exercises, you'll be able to better understand the value of your portfolio, and you'll be able to effectively promote and protect your brands. Even though no one wants to think about adding additional domains to portfolios at this point, we do often see gaps between trademark holdings and domain registrations. If a trademark has been sought for a particular geography, we recommend registering that corresponding domain for the country. Also think about, where are you marketing your brands? Are you marketing certain brands in certain geographies? Do you understand where your users are located? Align your registrations to those geographies where your customers are located or where you have offices. The same thing goes with TLDs and lines of business. Is there a particular line of business that is focused on a particular TLD? Or is there a new gTLD that closely correlates with your line of business? We have a number of integrated tools to help companies align their portfolios, but before I review those, let me also state that we understand that you cannot possibly register every brand in every TLD. It's just not feasible from an economic point of view. So that's why it is so important that your portfolios are aligned, that you're making smart registration and renewal decisions, and combining that with a policing and enforcement program. One of our tools that help our clients align their portfolios is domain intelligence. Domain intelligence reconciles trademarks with domains to identify coverage, gaps, and availability. It compares your global trademark holdings to corresponding domain registrations and identifies those that are owned, available, and squatted. You may uncover domains that were registered out of policy by another employee, or identify those. When you do identify those types of domains, consolidate them with the rest of your portfolio. You may discover you have trademarks registered, but you don't have the corresponding domains registered. Again, if you've taken the time to register the trademark, you should also register the domain. Or maybe you find that you have a highly restricted domain registered, but you don't have the corresponding trademark registered in that country. Should you register the trademark? Or maybe you don't even market to that area anymore. You no longer need the domain. You may uncover situations like this that help you identify domains you no longer need that you can possibly let lapse, sell in the secondary market to free up budget for other registrations or policing programs. And then finally, using a tool like domain intelligence can help identify potential abuse. The tool not only shows a screenshot of the domain's website, but also includes a Whois record to easily identify those domains that are taken by a third party. Another integrated tool we have is our reverse Whois. You can search on a number of data points like name, email address, phone number, name servers, to identify lost domains. You can search on your company details to identify domains to be consolidated, or use it to uncover domains that are being squatted. Reports can be created, exported, or saved for later use. Once you have identified all your domain assets, we highly recommend consolidating them to one provider so you can truly understand the portfolio's value. MarkMonitor has a team of experts that help score domains within a portfolio. They tier your brands as core, key, important, and limited, and an overall score is arrived at by utilizing a proprietary scoring algorithm that takes into consideration many factors like traffic, value, appearance of a trademark within the domain itself, and then also abuse occurring in that particular TLD. Once the portfolio is scored, a numeric value is indicated in the domain manager within the MarkMonitor Domain Management portal. The higher the score, the greater importance. The lower the score, the less value the domain has. This gives companies a good starting point for uncovering domains that could possibly be set to lapse or resold on the secondary market. Again, it's a starting point, and companies do have to factor in their own internal business intelligence. MarkMonitor provides this type of analysis to clients at no cost. One of the critical steps to reducing or containing costs is to undergo that categorizing exercise and identify those domains that have limited value. Those domains that have no alignment with your trademark or marketing strategy could be viewed as having limited value. In addition, those TLDs that are high cost, highly restrictive, could also be considered low risk and have limited value. On average, 25% of corporate portfolios contain domains that we consider limited in value and could possibly be purged from our portfolio or sold on the secondary market. Those domains with low or no traffic could also possibly be considered as low risk. Of course, you always need to be mindful that some domains that can be considered as limited value are being used for internal applications or other uses. So it's very critical that you check for that before you let any domain go. So domain utilization. Domains should be assets and not just expenses. MarkMonitor has been saying it for a while, that every domain should have a purpose. While 44 to 60% of corporate portfolios still do not resolve, we're seeing more companies take steps to point their domains to relevant content, and more importantly, capture and measure traffic. Not only does it provide important intelligence like location of users and type of traffic, it provides a better user experience, can be used to help score domains, and also helps to recover any lost traffic. Within the MarkMonitor portal, we identify domains that are active or inactive. Make the most out of defensive holdings by routing domains to live content. Leverage MarkMonitor's complementary DNS or web forwarding on those secondary sites. Point misspellings, typos, and variations to your core sites. Point product names to product pages, ccTLDs and IDNs to native pages, and those new ccTLDs to your home page or even product pages. We have a feature within our domain management portal that allows users to quickly view where domains are pointing. With website thumbnails, you can ensure that your domains are pointing where they should be and also understand where domains are not resolving. When they're not resolving, you can quickly configure your domains on MarkMonitor's DNS. As I mentioned, MarkMonitor has integrated DNS solutions that help you use, or that you can use to forward your domains to relevant content. We offer two solutions, a no-cost standard solution that can be used on those tertiary brands or defensive registrations, and a high availability solution that is designed for primary sites that receive a lot of traffic. Both are fully integrated in the MarkMonitor portal and leverage the same robust management interface. Using our DNS, you can track the traffic on your domains and use that data come renewal time. If certain sites are receiving little to no traffic, again, you can maybe consider letting those lapse to free up budget or resell them on the secondary market. Another tool to optimize portfolios is our key performance indicators. Our KPIs provide actionable intelligence that help global brand owners evaluate and improve domain portfolio performance. With this integrated analytics, you have visibility into portfolio size and growth rates and can quickly compare brand counts and hosting statuses with industry peers. By accessing this industry-leading data, you can view brand and domain registrations within your domain portfolio and benchmarks against others in your industry. You can quickly view domain counts for top brand strings to ensure registrations align with brand strategies, and then implement proper coverage based on brand value, ensuring that wider coverage for your core brands and preventing over-registration of low-value or discontinued brands. MarkMonitor also offers a variety of strategic services outside of the domain management portal that help our clients maximize their portfolio values. We have research and domain advisory teams that help with audits and analysis, strategy and guideline procedures, and we have a suite of new ccTLD services including strategy consultations and .brand registrar services if you do want to apply for your own .brand. We also offer private consultations as needed. So another major challenge for brand owners is domain security. Security vulnerabilities can happen at the registrant, registrar, and registry level. So let's take a look at some of those threats and the steps you can take to protect your critical domain assets. We've seen an increase in phishing scams targeting domain owners aimed at stealing registrar login credentials. Many of these scams consist of fraudulent emails being sent to domain owners that at first glance appear to be coming from the domain registrar. They prompt the domain owner to click on a link, which results in the download of a virus. We're also continuing to see those politically motivated hacks along with the usual suspects that are hacking to gain valuable customer information. Other tactics, including DDoS attacks, SQL injection, and brute force attacks, all of which result in havoc for the affected companies. Not only can personal data be compromised, these attackers can gain access to your domain registrar account to hijack or redirect your domains, which cause serious damage resulting in loss of revenue and customer trust. In terms of the types of industries that are a target, every industry is a target. Attacks are not limited to any specific vertical or industry. We've seen registrars fall victim to self-inflicted outages by inadvertently updating name servers, which causes site outages. And registry breaches are a particular concern because there is no way to really protect against them, because there is no alternative choice when it comes to selecting registries. That's why registry locking is such an important security measure. Brands continue to face hijacking threats and attacks. Attacks are getting more sophisticated, so it's imperative that you protect your domains, your domain management, and your DNS management accounts with additional security measures. Our focus has been on security from day one. We combine comprehensive preventative measures with real-time notifications for maximum security. Our preemptive security measures can help reduce vulnerabilities and provide peace of mind. Having preemptive security measures in place can help protect critical domain assets should anyone in your organization fall victim to one of those scams or your login credentials are compromised. Registry locking essentially locks the domain at the registry level and makes the domain uneditable until a security protocol is followed between you and MarkMonitor, and then a protocol between MarkMonitor and the registry. Two-factor authentication is an extra step in the login process where you have to enter a unique one-time code in addition to your username and password. And with IP access restrictions, you can restrict account access to certain IP addresses. Other security measures include forced password updates and automated email notifications of any domain name change within your account. If you only take away one piece of advice from today's session, please take this one. Implement registry locking on your most valuable domains. This is the highest level of security that can be added to a domain, and we highly recommend it for those core sites. MarkMonitor leads the industry in registry locking offerings, providing locking capabilities in 34 TLDs. We are very proud of the work we have done to implement registry locking. We continue to work with the registries to implement this locking and strive to make it more of a standard industry practice. Our policies support corporate-only clients. Make sure that your logins, passwords, or auth codes are never revealed. And we validate DNS updates prior to any change, and all transfer out requests are reviewed for accuracy. In addition, we undergo third-party penetration testing and perform name server monitoring for all domains under our management. This essentially cycles a ping of DNS information at the registry level and compares it to what is stored within the MarkMonitor's database. If that information is not in sync, MarkMonitor begins the process of contacting the registry and affected client to ensure immediate resolution of the discrepancy. Through this service, MarkMonitor has identified registry breaches that have allowed name server updates that were not authorized, in many cases before the registries themselves were aware that the breach had occurred. Another piece of the security solution is SSL Certificates. Your site visitors and customers feel safe when they know their information is encrypted and secure between their machine and your server. Centrally manage your domains and certificates in a single secure online environment. This will provide the visibility needed to track expiration dates. SSL Certificate Management is fully integrated within the MarkMonitor Domain Management portal. You can receive monthly notifications of pending expirations, and you'll get the expert advice you need to ensure you're getting the right certificate for your business needs. So now that we've talked about some of the major challenges you face, let's talk about some ongoing best practices to help you effectively manage your domain portfolios. The first step is to have domain strategies in place. Having strategies in place helps prevent misaligned or bloated portfolios, helps keep costs in check, helps protect key brands and trademarks worldwide, supports sales and marketing efforts, and helps prevent missed opportunities and those non-compliant registrations. So what should you consider when you're creating your strategies? First, understand what your corporate objectives are. Have your business needs changed? And what are the current market trends? Are you receiving timely information to help your registration decisions? And identify key stakeholders within your organization that should be involved with developing the strategies. Who from IT and marketing, e-commerce, legal should be involved? It's extremely important to have effective communication within the company when it comes to developing internal policies and strategies. And how often should your strategies be reviewed? You should review your strategies at least annually, but there are other reviews that you should be doing quarterly. To keep the company domain name strategy and portfolio up to date, an annual review involving key stakeholders from the company should be followed. Review domain name trends and changes to the domain landscape like we did earlier today. Review business changes that might affect your strategy. Conduct an audit to identify any areas of non-compliance. That can be domains registered outside of normal registration processes with another registrar, domains registered without standard Whois information, or domains pointing to non-compliant content. Domain name strategies continue to evolve, so understand that you'll need to update them along with your processes as major changes in the environment occur. A more frequent review, quarterly or at least twice a year, should include a review of domains coming up for renewal in the next 90 days. If you scored your portfolio, tracked the traffic, and reviewed domains with key stakeholders, making this decision to let a domain lapse will not be so difficult. Conduct a legal review of any domains you're considering to let lapse to ensure they shouldn't be kept for IP protection reasons, and review it with IT to ensure they're not being used for internal applications or email purposes. And make sure to make portfolio adjustments based on those reviews. So let's talk about why you should consider ccTLDs in your global strategies. Not only do ccTLD registrations help protect key brands and trademarks worldwide, they help you reach users in countries where .com doesn't dominate, and it also helps portray an understanding of culture and nationalistic pride. ccTLDs can support worldwide sales and marketing efforts and can help generate e-commerce revenue worldwide. So how do you know what ccTLDs you should be registering? Well, that depends on the brand. Doing that categorizing exercise, categorizing them as core, key, important, and limited can help you determine what type of coverage is needed. When identifying where to register, you should ensure that domains provide adequate coverage to meet corporate objectives, but it's also important to think about future marketing needs. If your company's culture is one that is extremely risk-averse, then registering defensively may make sense. Register those low-cost, unrestricted TLDs. Register in geographic locations where you have offices or you do business, and those TLDs you have registered in the past. And also, you should protect your house brand everywhere. While registering defensively can help ensure that your clients find you, you also need to actively monitor for abuse. If the objective is to maximize exposure on the web and generate e-commerce revenue worldwide, then you should consider registering in the top 10, 25, or e-commerce countries, in those geographic locations where you have offices or do do business, TLDs that support the worldwide sales and marketing efforts, and again, protect those house brands everywhere. So when it comes to IDN strategies, have you identified a strategy for registering your IDNs for your company? Should you be registering your top brands and more language-specific extensions in countries and regions where you do business? For international corporations, are your company names, existing marketing campaigns, and high-profile brand names, products, and trademarks covered globally in different languages? If you're still unsure about using IDNs in your global strategy, reach out to a local office to get insight on how your brands are being used locally. Are they being translated to languages other than English? If they are, work with those local offices to ensure brands are translated and registered based on how and where those brands are being marketed. When we talk about alignment best practices, ensure your registration and renewal strategies are aligned with policing and enforcement programs. It's not enough to just have domain strategy in place. Now more than ever, companies need to have a registration and renewal strategy that aligns with policing and enforcement programs. We already talked about categorizing your brands and how that will help you determine what type of coverage is needed. Brands determined to be core or key typically require greater coverage. The variations and misspellings and typo squatch should be considered with a .com domain for those core and key brands. And for those important and limited brands, focus should be placed on exact match registrations unless significant cyber squatting occurs. Align your registrations with your trademark strategy so that if you've taken that time to register the trademark in a certain country, you should also register the domain in that corresponding country. And not only should registration and renewals align with trademark strategies, they also need to align with marketing strategies. Following these best practices will help ensure proper levels of coverage. And since you can't register every brand and every TLD, it's important to have a policing and recovery program in place. Leverage blocking where you can and monitor for abusive registrations. Take action only when necessary. Start with a cease and desist letter and then leverage URS or UDRP when needed. You can also utilize domain backordering or acquisition services to recover domains that are taken. Following these steps and best practices I described will help you optimize your portfolio. And as a reminder, an important first step is to consolidate your domains. Make portfolio consolidations part of your domain policies. It allows for better control and visibility into your portfolio. If you haven't consolidated your portfolio, or if you've recently acquired another company, work with marketing, IT, legal, e-commerce to identify any possible registrations. They can provide insight into where and why certain domains have been registered. Another way to identify domains that need to be consolidated is to compare trademark holdings against domain registrations. Using a tool like MarkMonitor's Domain Intelligence allows you to quickly identify where trademarks are registered and where corresponding domains are registered. You could also use the tool like our reverse Whois to uncover those lost registrations. Searching on the email address, phone number, company name can quickly uncover domains you were not aware of. Once you have consolidated, score your portfolio to identify those high-value domains and domains you can possibly let lapse. Third step is to implement and enforce policies. Important questions to address are what should be registered, of when domains should be registered, and who is allowed to request a registration, who's allowed to approve a registration, what is the process to register a domain, and if you have to purchase a domain from the third party, what is the process to go about that? Where should you point your domains? And then what is the process for letting domains expire or sell? And then also, are there budget limitations when you are looking to register domains? Another important step is to ensure that domains resolve to that relevant content. Point those defensive registrations to your main site to recapture traffic. Acknowledge that defensive registrations no longer ensure protection. Leverage blocking where you can, police for abuse, and take action where appropriate. Retire low-value, low-risk domains to help prevent your portfolio from becoming misaligned or bloated. For those high-value domains, consider selling them on the secondary market. MarkMonitor has a team that not only helps with anonymous acquisitions, but is very experienced with selling domains on our clients' behalf. And then make regular reviews a part of your processes. And finally, and I think most importantly, implement these security best practices. Lock domains at the registry level and employ two-factor authentication when accessing your domain management or DNS management accounts. Never share login details, and implement DNS monitoring to identify unauthorized change to your domains. And to disable the ability to edit core domains for all users. You can do that with the registry locking option, but you can also do that by utilizing MarkMonitor's group functionality. Not every user needs access to every domain. So with MarkMonitor Groups, you can grant access to certain users to certain specified domains so that they don't have access to your entire domain portfolio. Continually review secondary user accounts and make deleting secondary users part of the exit process when employees leave the company. Require mandatory password updates, which you can do every 30, 60, or 90 days with MarkMonitor. You can implement the IP restrictions so that only users within certain IP addresses can access your account, and receive those notifications for every change made to your domain. And finally, use a corporate-only register, one that continually monitors its system for vulnerabilities. So why do the world's largest brands trust MarkMonitor to establish, protect, and defend their global assets? For the past 15 years, MarkMonitor has been leading the way. As you can see, MarkMonitor is often first to market, and it takes our competitors years to catch up. We were the first to offer registry and registrar locking, two-factor authentication, IP intelligence, which is our domain intelligence, and key performance indicators. We protect 8 of the 10 most highly trafficked websites utilizing industry-leading security services. We've implemented and we follow those best practices to protect our clients' critical domain assets. While many registrars say they have superior customer service, we truly pride ourselves on our customer service. Our client services managers receive near-perfect satisfaction ratings. They undergo in-depth training and yearly recertification. They are true experts and quickly become an extension of your team. We have a comprehensive suite of complementary research and consulting services, and our team of domain specialists have personal relationships with international registry, so we're able to quickly meet our clients' needs. We support several languages and provide 24/7 emergency support. And if you do have to use that emergency support, you don't get routed to a phone bank. You actually reach a client services manager, one that is familiar with corporate processes and procedures. I talked a little about our suite of complementary consulting services. Our team of experts has 15+ years experience managing corporate-only domain portfolios. We are outspoken advocates for our clients, and we actively participate in industry associations like ICANN, IACC, and INTA. When it comes to navigating the new GTLD landscape, we have several new GTLD services to empower our clients to make informed decisions. Our trusted and secure portal is designed for the management of corporate domain names, DNS, and SSL certificates. All three are managed in the same interface. You don't need separate logins. We have advanced filtering, reporting, and exporting capabilities, as well as a flexible account management and workflow automation that provides visibility, accountability, and control. Our portal allows granular user rights management, and customized billing solutions. We simplify budgeting by providing a renewal forecasting tool that can be filtered by specific group. You can filter by TLD, product, or by region. We have the most complete set of integrated solutions, including our TLD requirements database that covers rules and requirements for over 2,700 domain name extensions. And finally, our integrated technology truly provides the visibility and insight needed to effectively and efficiently manage global domain portfolios. We also have a domain mobile app that lets our clients complete common domain functions on the go. I showed a number of our integrated tools to help clients optimize portfolios, and we focus on creating those innovative products that serve the strategic needs of our clients. Well, thank you all for sitting with me through all of that. I know it was a lot of information, and I really only got through half of what our portal offers and what our clients' operations teams do to help our clients. So at this time, if you do have any questions, go ahead and submit them, and I will do my best to answer them for you.
Okay, thanks, Allison. We did have a couple of questions that just came in. As a reminder, you can use the Q&A tab located on your screen to submit questions. So, Allison, the first question, what should a company be doing now if they want to apply for their own TLD in the next round of new TLDs, ccTLDs?
That's a good question. Well, we're still several years, well, some say 2018. It's probably more like 2020. The first step is to identify and gather internal stakeholders to discuss whether or not running your own .brand makes business sense. From that, you can build your business case to get senior level buy-in. Like I said, we're still several years out from the second round, but I think it's important to start those conversations now so that when that second round does kick off, you are prepared and ready to start running. So really just identifying and gathering those internal stakeholders and starting that discussion of whether or not it makes sense.
Okay, thank you. The next question, do we have to use MarkMonitor's name servers to track our traffic in your management system?
Yes. In order to track those traffic stats in our DNS manager, MarkMonitor name servers do need to be used. However, whether you use our name servers, your name servers, or third-party name server, you'll still be able to view the hosting status in the domain management portal that I showed, where it shows active or inactive. You'll still be able to view those website thumbnails, and you'll still be able to utilize our KPIs. But for just the purpose of tracking those traffic stats, you would have to use MarkMonitor's DNS to do that.
Okay, and one more question. What are your strategy recommendations around new ccTLDs?
So that's a good question too. Companies do have to make tough decisions about whether it makes sense to register any of those GeoTLDs or if you do the ccTLD registrations. In this situation, I ask companies to think about whether they are actively marketing or promoting their brands in any of those GeoCities or regions. If they have a brick and mortar store or a physical presence in any of those city locations, then I think it makes sense to register those GeoTLDs. I think that you can do some very targeted campaigns to your customers in those locations, and it really, can show that you're an early adopter and, it can make sense from a marketing standpoint. So I do think, again, like if you're doing an event in a particular location, geolocation, or you have a physical presence there, that I think that